doing it. We're going live. What's up? Good morning, beautiful people. This was a huge realization in my life a couple months ago. And I was living in a small town. There was not much opportunity at all. I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't have any family there. And I just kind of moved out there because I didn't really have a plan. I just kind of ended up there and I didn't know what I was doing. So I lived in this small American town, and I tried to like stay active. I tried to stay busy and interested in things, and I played drums every day that I could, and tried to practice drums all the time. Tried to work in kitchens. I tried to apply myself the best I could. But this town, and maybe you can relate, but this town didn't really have much opportunity. It didn't really have any. For me, I'm a cook. I work in restaurants, and this place didn't have a lot of opportunity. It didn't have a lot of educated people there either. It didn't have a lot of arts, entertainment, culture. It was just kind of, I describe it as an economically depressed Republican small Jesus town. So the thing is, this is just a small town in Idaho, and it was just really, I don't know, it wasn't a very stimulating environment. It didn't have a lot to offer somebody young and up and coming, and especially somebody I consider myself, fairly educated. But the thing is, I want to become more educated, and I want to grow, and I want to continue to be better. So these needs were not being met in this small town. And I kind of realized that a lot of people in this town were bitter and jaded, and a lot of them were just kind of alcoholics, pill addicts, thieves, liars. A lot of them were just gave up on their lives. A lot of them just gave up on their dreams and everything. A lot of them had been maybe in and out of jail. A lot of DUIs, people with DUIs, a lot of minimum wage jobs. A lot of people worked minimum wage jobs, donated plasma, and drank. So it was a weird little American town, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate because there's a lot of towns like this in America right now. And I just found myself in one of these towns, and there was not much growth or opportunity going on. And you kind of just meet a lot of negative people. You meet a lot of people that are bitter and resentful and sour and angry and upset. Just a lot of negative people that depressed people, people that drink and do pills and yell at their kids and beat their wives. Like, it was crazy. It was a lot of bad people around me. And I just realized that it was an opportunity thing. And honestly, that is what starts, um, that's what really the foundation for addiction is. Addiction and getting into trouble and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff happens when you're not in a thriving, stimulating environment. That's when people usually turn to drugs, or they're bored, so they get on medications and pills and stuff like that. So they start to use to calm down their depression and their anxiety. Next thing you know, you have a town that is, struggling with an opiate epidemic, and people that are struggling with alcohol and pills because they're all anxious and depressed and miserable because they're not being stimulated, and they don't have anything to aim for. They have nothing to work towards. Bunch of dead end jobs, a bunch of minimum wage jobs, a bunch of business owners that are paying people minimum and then thinking they are awesome, great, wonderful people and amazing bosses because these people, they feel like these people need them. Their employees need them, is what they feel like. These people need me. They're eating out of my hand. I'm doing them a solid by paying them $7.50 an hour. I'm a great guy. I'm giving these people a chance to have a good life because I'm paying them 7.50 an hour. And just terrible bosses and terrible people. Just trying to save pennies everywhere and shorthanding everybody and ripping each other off for, oh my God. Um, it was just a very crazy little American town, and I really think that it's happening everywhere. So it gave me a real taste of that. It gave me a taste of the like Republican Christian American town. It was just insane. But all of a sudden, I was kind of becoming what I was around. I was becoming a product of my environment. And I was just kind of anxious and depressed a lot of the times. And I learned that it's going to get worse if you don't do something. I learned that depression and anxiety is your soul and your being. It's your being reaching out and fighting and telling you it's trying to communicate with you. It's depression and anxiety, I learned, is your soul and your being communicating with you that something is wrong. It's your being, it's your soul communicating with you. This isn't right. We can do better. We deserve better. There's a better way. There's a more beautiful place that we can be. There's more joy out there. We can get to a better place. We can Life's short. Why are we here? Like this is miserable. We're becoming miserable. We're getting stressed out, and it's making us look older and feel older, and it's making our skin break out and our skin wrinkle. It's making our energy go away. It's making us not interested in anything. It's making us not find any joy. We're not laughing. We're not being in the sunshine, smiling and having a great time. We're not eating well. We're donating blood and plasma to try to make some money. And in turn, we're losing weight and becoming more anxious and having panic attacks that we've never had. And you start to lose interest and joy in things you used to love. You stop meeting good people. Everybody you meet is just, let's drink. Yeah, let's drink and talk about our problems. And then, it's just a lot of violent, bitter people. And, this is where I found myself. And I realized that I want to be, I want to be around people that are innovating and challenging themselves and growing and creating and thankful and grateful for every day and trying every day to be better than yesterday and teaching each other and caring about people around them, growing and being better. And I wanted to be, around winners. I wanted to be around successful people and people that wanted to become successful and wanted people around them to succeed. I just wasn't in that environment, man, and it was tearing me down and eating me up from the inside. And I started to have, you know, I didn't really care about working after a little while. I was just kind of like, I don't really care about my work ethic anymore because everybody I work with and I run into are paying me minimum wage, and they tell me I'm working too hard, and it's just all of like fast food, minimum wage, dead end jobs. And a lot of the people there are just angry, bitter felons, and they just disrespect each other all day. And after a while, it's just kind of like the jobs there and the bosses just want to take advantage of you, and they send 3 people home and have you work all day, and they save money because they're making you do all this work because you have work ethic and you're respectful. So you're just getting taken advantage of and disrespected. You're not you're not advancing in any way. You're not growing in any way. And so then I stopped caring. I really stopped caring about my work ethic, and I stopped caring about putting in effort. I stopped caring about going above and beyond. and I started to drink more, I started to drink more, and then it became this poor me, and then it was like I drank more and I was just bummed out, and then I became more anxious, more depressed, and then one day it just got so terrible. I started waking up at 3 and 4 AM. I started to not be able to sleep, and it just that's when I knew it was getting worse because I couldn't sleep and I wasn't eating, and that was causing me new panic attacks, new anxiety attacks that I had never had before. I was like, "Wow, I thought I knew anxiety. I didn't know shit." This was crazy. This was just like fight or flight mode. For the first time in my life, I was stuck in fight or flight mode. And it's because I wasn't working, I wasn't applying myself, and I wasn't doing important things with my life and my time. I wasn't intaking knowledge. I wasn't around good people that made me feel good. And I wasn't creating relationships. I wasn't meeting new people. I didn't feel good about my work, and I didn't feel good about my future or anything at all. I didn't feel good about anything. And for the first time, I knew what anxiety was, and it was terrible. And panic attacks, I had never had these feelings before. I thought I did. I thought I knew anxiety and depression, but this was just something brand new and just horrible. And it made me realize that people out there actually suffer with this every day. It's crippling anxiety and they can't go out in public, man. I was definitely to where I didn't want to go to the store. I didn't want to go buy groceries. I was to where I could not go to the grocery store. I just didn't feel good about myself. I didn't want to go out into public. That's how terrible I felt about myself and how disconnected I felt. I had no I had nothing to be proud of, man, and I was just so ashamed of my life and myself. And wow, it's just this terrible thing. I realized that I could become bitter and resentful. That is when I realized if I didn't change and if I didn't get myself to opportunity and to where my needs could be met, I realized I could become bitter and resentful. I could be one of those people that just moans and groans. And when someone says, "How are you today?" they say, "Same shit, different day." Or maybe they just say, "Hey, how's it going?" "Fuck you." I've been better." Just, like, "Oh, why did I wake up today? Oh man, another day in this hellhole." And, you know, um, just praying for God to take me, hoping I don't wake up tomorrow. Like, I knew that that's where I was headed. I was headed there. I was headed to health problems, mental health problems, and physical issues because I wasn't eating and I wasn't exercising and I wasn't working and I wasn't building relationships and communicating with people. I wasn't talking with people, making eye contact and human interaction and human contact. It was all gone and I was suffering big time. All of a sudden I was isolating myself because of it. And I realized that I I realized that I was going to die early or just keep chain smoking cigarettes all day and slamming coffee and drinking alcohol at night and hanging out with terrible people that just had no morals and no values. Like, I realized I was going to lose everything beautiful about myself and my life. I realized I was losing myself very quickly in all of this ugliness and all of this confusion and pain and all this darkness. I was letting it overcome me. I was letting it take over me and my soul. So I realized I had to do something quick, man. I had to get out of there. I had to get back to a city. I had to get to a city. I had to get to a safe city where things were happening and people were progressive, and where I could get my feet on the ground and actually apply myself and work hard and start building up. Um, yeah, it was just very important. It was very important for me to get back to a city, get a job, get 2 jobs, start working, go to food banks, go to food pantries, go to churches and ask where I can get help with this, help with that, and then just start working and start getting on the clock and start building, man, and going up, and then staying in a hotel weekly, and then all of a sudden finding a room for rent on Craigslist, finding a couch surfing deal on Craigslist, just working your way up. And after you've been in that terrible place, like, you're so grateful for every day, and everything is just such a blessing, and everything is brand new. And it really is like living for the first time again once you finally do start to get on your feet, and that process of building a new life and taking back your life, man. It's a beautiful thing, and that's the process, that growth development and that working and building. It's taking responsibility and just realizing that you're going down, man, that it's just hospitals and doctors and mental health and physical health problems from here on out. It's you sitting on the couch watching TV, taking medications, and complaining because you gave up on everything and you stopped believing in yourself and you gave up on everything. Oh, man. I hope this helps anybody struggling out there, anybody finding themselves in similar situations, just lost, disconnected, struggling in a small town where their needs are not being met and where they're not finding any stimulation or growth. There's a better way. There's a way out. Go and explore. Get out. Pack your backpack. Get a bus ticket and go somewhere new and just explore and get yourself out there and live. Life is beautiful, and you shouldn't be sitting around in a toxic environment waiting to die and waiting for new health problems. Go get active and find out what it is that brings you joy and what you're good at. And then focus on that, man. Put it all on that and just focus and grow and develop and offer the world your services, man. Offer the world what you're good at and your strengths and talents. Everybody has it, but we have to tap into it. And you're not going to find it if you're just around toxic people that are just complaining. I love you so much. Have an awesome day. Have a special day. I believe in you. And reach out anytime. Go out there and build yourself a new life. Go take your life seriously. Go start to build.